Hey, hey, hey. This is your girl Gloria Medrano of Heart of the City, San Diego, and I am live. And I wanted to pop in this morning on you guys with a little inspirational word. If you don't know who I am, my name is Gloria Medrano, and I am basically I'm a chaplain, I'm a life coach, I'm a mentor, and I'm just your San Diego girl, friend to so many people. And then I was overseas for many, many years, doing ministry and, just exploring and having a wonderful time. So appreciative of all of the people that supported the ministry for so many years. Now I'm in San Diego and just having a great time reconnecting with old high school friends, my homegirls, the girls from National City. But I'm not from National City. I'm actually from Southeast San Diego. And I grew up on Skyline in a house that my dad built, and I went to O'Farrell and Morris High School. So I later on finished at a school called National University, where I met well, I've always known these girls. I grew up with them, hanging out at my cousin's house when I was like 14, 15. And these girls lived down the block, lived down a couple of houses down from my cousin in National City. And so we hung out quite a lot in National City. And so, yeah, reconnecting after coming back from London with my old high school friends and stuff. If you are blessed, if you still have your high school friends, and you are even more blessed if you are able to still be in their lives as they have grown into incredible, changed, and transformed human beings who do their part in the world and bring hope and inspiration to the world. You are a blessed person if you get to have that, because usually that don't happen. Usually one person is growing and the other one is just getting jealous. We don't practice jealousy in our little group. We practice encouragement and camaraderie. We are comrades together. We give each other room to fail and explore and grow. We've learned this throughout the years of watching each other. So you are blessed if you get to have that. Today, I want to talk to you about a little something I learned along the way. And I must have been about 17, just turning 18. And you probably, I've shared this before, but you maybe haven't remembered it. So I'm going to share it again. I had foster parents, so I was a foster child. And so, yeah, at the age of 16, 17, I when I went into National University in National City, um, I was had some really severe situations going on at home. It became dangerous. Um, and I could even say life threatening. And so the environment was not healthy for learning or going to school. So I did drop out of um, public school in the 11th grade. But I knew that I had something inside of me, a determination, a strong will. And I went back to school. This is where I went back to National University, and my friends were attending there in National City. And they said, come and check it out. And so I did, and I loved it. So, anyways, these teachers of mine there um, one of them, him and his wife, uh, realized that I was having some trouble at school, right? And so he kind of did an intervention with me because he's a former police officer, and I'm sure that he understood how to do an intervention. So he sat me down and went through a series of questions with me, and he got to the bottom of, because I wasn't telling anyone what was happening in my home. No one knew. So here I am. I'm only 16, 17. I'm a female, and I'm, for whatever reason, I have always had a car. Homegirl has a car no matter what. So I was sleeping in my car because I couldn't go home. And so um I he found out that I was sleeping in my car, and he called up my mom, and my mom came down, and they had a discussion, and suddenly I was being foster parented by this family, right? And so this is a well-educated family. They were in they're very much humanitarian. I mean, properly humanitarian. I mean, this guy was in National Geographic for, for his humanitarian work. So that is who I lived with, you guys. So, um, you know, the the wife was high level artist, and ballet dancer, and just so many things. And then he did humanitarian work. So I got to be a part of that and lived with them. And I went to go visit his father, and at in Coronado. So we were at a dinner in Coronado, and I didn't grow up. I mean, I did. Sorry, I can't say that I didn't grow up going to dinners. I did. I did go to dinners. I went to fancy dinners. To be honest, I had an aunt who, she would put on these really, really fancy dinners up at her home. Um, and and so yes, I did go to fancy dinners, but I wasn't used to, the kids would go have one table and the adults would have the other table. I wasn't used to sitting around the table and having a conversation. So here I am. I'm a little bit, I'm in survival mode. I'm a bit of a rebel. I have no boundaries. I'm just this wild girl, this wild chick, right? All under the age of 18, and I'm just as free as could be. No restraints, no nothing, and I got a car, and so I was at this dinner, and we're sitting around the table, and um, I just was like bored out of my mind. I didn't know how to. It wasn't that I was bored. It was that I was withdrawn and not. It was a different environment, and I was not familiar with how to interact in this environment. So I kind of went to a little chair off to the side, and had to observe for a little bit, right? How to jump in on that. What do I do? And at that moment, the lady who owned the house, she walks up to me and she says, are you okay? And I was like, yeah, I'm bored, like young people do. Yeah, I'm bored. Um, with my arms crossed, and I'm like bit like, slouching over, trying to, in this cool, like sitting cool, kicking back, if it was a wall, I'd be holding it up. So she 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 looked at me, and she says to me these words that I never knew at that age what in the world she was saying to me. It just blew my mind. I did not know what she was saying to me until I got older. So I sat down, and she says, Well, let me just tell you this. Bored people are boring, but interested people are interesting. Let me leave you with that. And so she walks away like a little sassy, but with a cute sassy. And so she walks away from me, and I'm thinking, I sit up a little bit. I'm thinking, what in the world did she just say to me? Am I supposed to be offended? Am I supposed to fight? What am I supposed to do? Like, I'm in, you got to remember, I'm in full blown survival mode at this time. I'm in foster care and I'm in a strange environment. I have no clue what's going on. And so this is mind blowing to me, right? And so this stayed with me for years and years. And it was maybe about, I want to say about 3 years later, I'm finished with my education and I land a job as an accountant at San Diego Redwood on Main Street. Yes, right there with the giant flagpole right on Main Street. You guys all know it. It's no longer there, but the flagpole is still there. Um, and I land this job with this loud, wild, kind of hippie, like rich hippie guy who drove a yellow Corvette convertible, also had this super cool um, chopper with the long front end and the big high sissy bar in the back, and with long hair and this big massive mustache. And so he's like, I'm working under him and he's training me. And one day I have this encounter with this customer, right? And he's like, let me come here. I need to talk to you. So I went back. He's like, what happened out there? And I'm like, no, they said this and that. And here I'm back in some survival mode, right? And so he's like, no, 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 no. Let me remind you that this is my company and the customer is always right. But he didn't end with that. He then said, um, are you open to going to some courses? I want to send you to. And I was like, yes, heck yes. And so, anything to progress, to get a raise, yeah. I was interested. Money, yes, I'm here. I hear you. So he sent me to Dale Carnegie. He sent me to a Dale Carnegie course called How to Win Friends and Influence People. And it was it wasn't the sales course one, it was the self-help one. And this one was more of social skills, basically. And so when I went to this course, all of the things that one lady told me, bored people are boring, was enlightened to me at this Dale Carnegie course on how to win friends and influence people. Because here's the lesson for today, a little inspiration maybe for you all. You're listening on LinkedIn and on other platforms here that I'm streaming onto. You guys, it is never about you, okay? Some of the stories that I share, they're my story, but the story has included you, okay? The story is about how you can see yourself in the place of what I was doing at that time, right? Because we've all been there. We've all been young at one point. Some of you are still young and still growing and learning and have so many things to bring to the table. And another thing I want to say is it's okay to this is what I'm, I've been in the Uber driver before I share the rest of my story, but lately I've been in with the not Uber, not Uber. Let me change that. Lyft. Some really cool young folks driving Lyft, okay, doing some really cool things, artistic things, and they ask me. I listen to their stories, and then I ask them a few questions. What is the most inspirational thing that anyone has ever told you? Many of them can't think of what that was, and some can. And then they ask me after that, what would be something that you would leave for advice? And I would tell them this: any millennial listening, it is okay to mess up. Get that out of your head that you're going to be perfect. We all have to have a starting point. I was a high level athlete when I was young, and I had to have a starting point. I failed, I crashed, I broke bones, gashed open my gashed open, gashing wounds where I had to have stitches and all kinds of stuff. And there was a starting point to that before I became high level. There was a failing. There was even competition where some of the competitions, people didn't want me there. They kicked me off the track, by scooting me up, coming up underneath me, and pushing me up off the track. Um, Even sometimes kicking my bike up off the track. Some mean stuff there. There's also some training, some competitive, this is how you do it. I'm going to show you once, they'll go try it kind of situations, right? But all in all, I thought when I started that I had to get it all right away, perfect. And that I was all in my mind, I could do it. And there was a wake up call when you have your first you know loss. You lose a race, or you fall and hurt yourself so bad that you break a bone, and now you have to wait to heal to get back on the bike. Those types of things, right? So there's some setbacks, but when you're young, it's okay. No matter what age you are, we're all going to have a starting point. And it's okay to mess up and keep going and mess up and keep going. That's all the fun part, the adventure of living. That's all fun. And if you can look at it like that, that's the adventure of it. um Doing your, if you're an artist, if you're, an athlete, if you're whatever you might be dabbling into, it's also okay to try a lot of different things. I was told, to stay on the track, only do one thing, and only those kind of people do that. You can't do that. Girls can't do this, only boys do that. And it was very much still like that in my growing up years. And many of you that are, not a millennial. And so uh, we had we didn't have that kind of there weren't too many people telling us you can do whatever you want to do, and it's okay to try different things. Because how are you going to know if you like it if you don't try it? And because someone told you you can't do that, that's not for you. um so go try and try and try and do the things, and you'll find what it is that you really love to do, right? And that's for the rest of your life. And stay in the things, if you want to, stay in the things that make you blossom, that bring the best out of you. And when you're in that kind of niche, guys, people feel that coming out of you. Like, I love, love, love people. And I'm sure that people feel that coming from me. Sometimes that can be pretty hard. I've got some family members that I worked with and counseled, and brought them to a place of transformation and healing in their life. But in the beginning, it was rough, tough, really tough. And I had to do some tough love and some, putting some boundaries and then loosening up on the boundaries. When do I loosen up on the boundaries? And then, giving them room to fail and come back and fail and come back. And, and then giving them these guidelines to go by and then giving them the resources to go on and things like that. It's just a lot of different techniques. Anyways, here I am. But back to my story. This is for all of you. Listen up. This is the part that I want you to listen to. Okay. That lady told me when I was that little girl, she said, bored people are boring, but interested people are interesting. When I went to the Dale Carnegie course, they taught me the same thing. When you are meeting someone or hanging out with friends or meeting them for the first time or meeting in a social setting or whatever, you will become the interesting person when you become the listener. Let me say that again. You will become the interesting person when you become the listener. I practice this in the lift all the time. Okay. As the passenger, some of these drivers are amazing and they're sharing their stories and I'm listening to them and I'm getting excited with them. And I'm like, what makes you excited about starting off on this career? And they'll get so excited and they'll share and share and share. And I'll be like, wow, that's so cool. Okay, so how did you get there? What are you doing now? And how do you see yourself in the future? And they'll go into that conversation. And they're so excited. So I practice this stuff, right? Wherever I go, I practice it. Now, I mean, and there are times when I do get selfish, and there are times when I want to talk and I want to share as well. Don't get me wrong. Sometimes I am, in that selfish mode. But I have to remind myself, where am I right now? And who should I be listening to? And how do I make them feel? How do I make them feel when they leave me, right? I don't always get that right, but I do try to keep that at the forefront of my mind. And that is how I live my life. How do I make them feel when they leave me? Okay. And the other day, it was a family member, a close family member. And I'm not going to tell you who it is because you will guess. If you know me, you'll guess. Well, I'm rushing out of the door and I how you rush out the door and you're like so hungry and you're like, I'm gonna go up the street and I'm gonna go get a taco. And I'm thinking I'm just gonna get a taco. That's it. That's all I get is one taco. And I don't need all the calories, but I want the protein in the inside, right? That's what I'm thinking in my mind. And so I'm trying to turn around and ask a family member, I'm going to the taco shop. Would you like something? And I'm thinking they're going to say, yeah, I want the same thing you're getting. Of course, people don't want the same thing you want. They want what they want. So, when you're dealing with family members, you forget that, right? You're a little bit more loose and selfish. Anyway, they say, yeah, they take the opportunity to say, I want this, I want this, I want this, I want this. I'm thinking to myself, I don't even order that. That's a lot. I turned around and I did say that. I said, I don't even order that. And then I remembered, oh, shut your mouth, girl. Shut your mouth. So I shut my mouth and I said, oh, okay, I'll get you whatever you want because I want This is a close family member. And even I practice this with strangers and I want them to go away feeling good. Well, more so, I want my family members to feel good when they leave me as well. So practice this on your family members more than you would a stranger and get good at it, okay? um, be generous to people, be giving, and be helpful in all situations, and know who you can talk to and who's ready to listen to you and your story. You got to have that as well. But again, bored people are boring as heck, guys, but interested people are so interesting. Which one are you? Practice it. I love you. I'm going to peace out for now. Bye.